What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Let's Build the U.S.S. Voyager Season 1, Episode 24. I'm Zero Elite, and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. If you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, helping me and supporting the channel. I can't thank you guys enough for that. Today we've got about a 17-minute episode. We're going to be picking up right where we left off in the last episode. But today we're really going to get rocking and rolling on our backbone. And I'm going to show you guys how we're going to transition what we have into that beautiful shelving that we'll have, that Voyager will ultimately look like we had in the tour episode. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into this. Because believe it or not, what we have, we're not going to have to make too much of an adjustment to it. It's pretty much with these last couple of rows that I start to determine, like, okay, this is starting to get where I need to get it, but how do we have the rest of the neck to look, backbone of the neck to look like this? Because the problem, and I need to bring that down by one, just messed up. Let's fix that. Because the problem that we're going to have is that as we go layer to layer, if you look at what you have right now, the shape of the backbone gets distorted if you're going up from the back to the top. So it's like, okay, how do we fix that? The easiest way to fix that is just to establish what the outline is and have it going that way all the way up. That's the best way I can describe it, and we're going to get ready to start doing that here in just a few moments. Alright, now we're going to get rid of the axis on the back. We need to make this one wider because right now it's 4 and it needs to be 5. You can see we're going 6 wide. And see, that'll work. Because come right up to that point. So we can make that work. So now we're establishing our backbone. With the very middle of it, and the back end here, 5 long and 6 wide. And I'll show you how we can make the sides of the backbone here look a little bit stronger. What we'll do is we'll come back and we'll highlight it with a different color half slab, so this way we don't lose that line. But the shelving that we're starting to develop, we're just going to basically be continuing this going all the way up. This looks so much better than what we had. And then once we have this in place, it's going to be easier to blend all of this in together. It'll be so much easier. I don't know about this gray concrete on the last row because that's going against my pattern. We might have to change that. Alright, we're looking pretty good. We're going to clean up the left side. Okay. That outline of the gray concrete is actually what inspires me to go back and have that clear definition cut line for the sides of the neck. We're going to do the same thing on this side. We're just going to basically fill this in. Except I did that wrong. I need to go down one. There we go. Now we're looking good. Except our backbone's missing something. It's missing an outline on the sides. We need to have that clear definition going all the way up. Like I said, it's not until we get that established that'll make this whole thing a little bit easier. Just quite haven't figured that out at this point, but we're pretty much right there. I believe by the end of today's episode we'll have that in place. Yeah, because you can see as we go upward, I'm trying to figure out the blending points, and then it dawns on me that, well, I've already got that established in the back end of the neck. Why don't we just transition that going all the way upward? Because everything I'm doing right here looks, you know, fine and dandy. It's just the blending, it doesn't look as good as the very tail end of the lower hull. Yeah, especially when we look at this from a top-down view, this whole area of the top section of the lower hull, it's a blended hodgepodge nightmare. Even though like the cut lines are established, I'm not really feeling how this area is specifically looking. But we are going to fix it, don't worry. We just kind of have to spin our wheels just a little bit before we get there. Because this is the other problem too. This is why I decided just to do the shelving going all the way up, just because as we start to transition upward, this area specifically is going to start to look a little bit more messed up. Because that's why this isn't working. It's because as we're going layer to layer, it's not matching up with what we have in the lower sections. Okay, now that we're done messing around, let's go ahead and do what we need to do. So now we're going to define the sides of our backbone. That's why I say sometimes you got to throw something down. This is so super vital to the build. It's going to, trust me, it's going to help you. If you're not sure, make multiple saves. This way you can experiment. If it doesn't come out the way that you want, no big deal. Just delete that save and go back to one of your other previous saves. This way you can just pick up right before you start making those changes. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing on the left side. We're going to bring this going as far up as we can before the pattern shifts. But what we're ultimately going to do is just continue this pattern with the same thickness going all the way up. This way the blending as we go row to row doesn't look weird. This row right here, so that's where we're going to stop, because at that point we have to make this row thicker. We're just going to do, and I actually need to change that color. I don't even know why I did it in the white concrete. Yeah, we're going to have to change that out to the stone slab. But all this stuff that we're doing here, this isn't hard. It's just planning out what you're going to do. So you can see what we've done. We went through our trial and error process, and as we got down to the bottom, the shelving down here looks so much better than up here. So all we did was that we just used the template that we had down here, and we're going to stretch it going all the way up the neck. This is a clear example of when I say you can stumble upon greatness if you're willing to try out different things. If I wasn't willing to do this, if I wasn't willing to experiment, if I just kept what I had, I never would have come across this. This is why I say be willing to try out different things, because going through that trial and error period, eventually you're going to land where you need to land. This is why I compare building with blocks comparable to working with clay or even sketching out a photo. There's no difference. You're just manipulating the shapes until it comes out the way that you want it to look. I'm making more work than I need to for myself here. This last row, I need to do that in the gray, and I'm not doing that. But to save you guys time, that last row, because we're going to keep that transition line the same on the side so it matches the very center. So we need to go back and use the stone slabs. So on this last row, you need to make sure to do that in stone slabs. Don't worry about the gap. We'll come back and fix that. Our main focus right now is getting the template for the backbone in place. Once we have this template in place, it's going to make it easier to blend in everything. This is why I was saying what I should have done from the get-go. I was way too concerned with trying to make all the cut lines and everything match up. This is something I've been working on with my tutorials, because don't get me wrong, going with the cut lines, it is very vital for the way that I build, but I've been trying to, in areas, we'll put it this way, in areas where I need to differ from doing that, I've been working on embracing that just a little bit more. You guys will see that more with the Excelsior 2 class, like when we get into the lower hull of it, because A lot of the cut lines down there on the belly of the lower hull, they all just don't match up, and like it makes my eye twitch a little bit, but to get that shape, I had no choice. I had to do it that way. And Voyager was kind of the start of embracing a little bit more of that. Alright, so now we're going to come back with the stone slabs for these 3 shelves that we just added in. Going to bring this up. And I did consider skipping right through this and showing you guys a row or two and just going right through it, but I ultimately decided that I wanted to show all this because I can see how maybe this would be confusing for somebody. So with situations like that, yes, I am going to show all of it. Now what you guys will see, and we've done a little bit of that with Voyager, but it's going to be something that I'm going to continue on the monotonous stuff. I'll give you guys an example and then we'll move on from it, so this way you guys can repeat that steps where you have to, and I'll show you where you need to do that. But as far as this specific area goes, I wanted to show the step-by-step just in case anybody got lost, because what seems simple to me might not be simple to some other people. You might be able to see this and like see a portion of it and be like, okay, I'm good to go. I don't need to watch the rest of the episode. And if you don't need to, I mean, cool. But what I will say is that you want to make sure that you stop where I stop at, just so that we're on the same page. This is something I come across here and there where I'll have people where they jump ahead and they just build whatever, and then they're coming back and they're trying to ask me to help them with what they have, and like, you gotta understand, like, it's difficult to do that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I will try to help you if I can, but that's why I say the best thing to do here is just to copy what I have, so this way we're on the same page. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, what I'm doing here is not set in stone. If you've done a couple of these ships at this point and you're starting to get a little bit more comfortable, or if you don't like what I have, do what works for you. Everything that I'm doing here is just an example of what you can do. You know? This is something I say all the time. There's 1,000,001 ways to build these ships. I'm really just trying to give you guys an example of what you can do to do this yourself. These, at the end of the day, you know, these ships are customizable and they're made up. I'm not a fan of the canon gatekeepers that were like, this doesn't look exactly like it did in the show. And it's like, good for you. This is my build and I'm going to do it how I want to do it. And that's just where I'm at on it. You know? When I'm building on Minecraft, that's just kind of how I roll. I want to relax. I don't want to think about anything else. I just want to focus on what I'm working on. It's super therapeutic. It helps me relax. And bear in mind, yeah, I do try to stick within canon, but at the same time, if I want to change something and I'm passionate about it and I think it'll look better, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And that's just kind of where I'm at on it. But we're looking pretty good. I think we're going to stop it right here, because in next week's episode we'll be getting in this top section here, and then we'll start blending in the sides to make this look a little bit better. But if you look at the tour episode I did of Voyager compared to what we have now, Voyager is slowly starting to look how she did. But for whatever reason, if you guys get stuck, you have any questions regarding today's episode, drop a comment below. Try to help you out if I can. Any builds you want to see me do, be sure to drop a comment, or you can also post your suggestions in Discord under the Build Suggestions tab. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming up on the channel in the future. Voyager Season 2, the Excelsior 2 class, Enterprise D Season 2, and also the Enterprise A 2.0 once we hit 1,000 subscribers. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for me today. I just want to thank you all again for tuning in today's episode, and I hope everybody has a happy and safe week. And what did you make in Minecraft? Let me know in the comments section and post your photos in Discord.